Hello bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing another news and stuff video. Thankfully, there has been a much shorter gap between this news video and my last news video, but there's been a lot of exciting things that have been announced and I really wanted to talk about them, and I'm not sure when the next time I'm going to get to film is with the holiday season coming, so I thought that it would be good to do a news video now and get the stuff out of the way so that I can talk about the new things next year. Okay. So, the first and most exciting thing that I have to talk about is Erin Morgenstern, the author of The Night Circus, one of my favorite books of all time, has finally announced her second novel. The book is going to be called The Starless Sea, and it's coming out on November 5th of 2019. The Night Circus was published in 2011, so this has been quite a long time between books. This was just the best news ever to me because I was not expecting it anytime soon, and here we have it. And the premise sounds incredible. It follows a graduate student in Vermont who discovers this very strange book, so he's going and reading through all of these tales. One of the stories that he reads in there is actually a story from his own childhood. So he's like, what the heck is going on? And that leads him to find these 3 clues. He finds a sword, he finds a bee, and he finds a key. And that leads him to a masquerade in New York City, to a secret club, and then through a secret doorway to an underground, very hidden library. He teams up with a couple of other people, and then he has to try to figure out what his purpose is in this world. Just sounds like it's going to be so amazing. I already love the 3 clues that he has to go on. I just can't wait. The next bit of news, which actually was just announced yesterday, is that Victoria Schwab's City of Ghosts is going to be adapted into a CW television show. I, for one, am so excited about this. There has been kind of a mixed reaction from fans because one of the major things that's going to be changed right off the bat is, as you might know, City of Ghosts is a middle grade novel following a 12-year-old girl named Cassidy Blake. But in the CW adaptation, Cassidy is actually going to be a college graduate, and she's going to study paranormal psychology in an effort to find out what her connection is with the afterlife. She's still going to have her powers, and the first season at least is still going to take place in Scotland, but we haven't had any word on whether her parents will be involved, because in the book she moves to Scotland because her parents are doing a paranormal show where they hunt do basically ghost hunting. The only other confirmed characters from the book are Dr. Barrow and Jacob. Jacob is her best friend who's a ghost. There hasn't been any word yet on when it's coming out, but I for one am so freaking excited about it. In my review of City of Ghosts, I expressed how much I really loved it, but how I wish that it would have been for an older audience because I wanted to go so much more in depth, and I feel this adaptation could give the opportunity to do so. And Victoria Schwab approved it, and yeah, I trust her, so I am on board. Next, in some of the best news ever, it has finally been announced that To All the Boys I Loved Before is definitely getting a sequel. Netflix just struck a deal with Paramount, and Paramount is who Netflix purchased the rights to the original To All the Boys I've Loved Before film from. So Paramount will once again be producing, and they've expressed that the To All the Boys I've Loved Before sequel is a big priority for them because there was just such an outpouring of love when that adaptation hit Netflix. I know our community specifically really loved it, but it seemed to reach a very widespread audience. There has not been any information at all about literally anything except for the fact that it is a priority for Paramount to produce. The only other tricky thing too is that, as you might know, the second book, P.S. I Still Love You, the beginning of that was already covered in the first film, so I'm curious to see if they would just maybe condense the story into 2 films, judging by that ending of the first, because that would be part of the storyline that we've got there, or if they'll still go all out and then make a 3rd movie potentially. Next, again, super exciting news. I'm just sharing all the things that I'm really excited about first, but it's been announced that Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell is actually going to be released in 2019. It was originally slated to be released in 2020, but Rainbow posted a photo to her Instagram page saying coming 2019. So that's really all the info that we have on that, but I can't wait. I'm so excited, and now I feel the need to to reread Carry On so that I'm ready for this next book. We also got a cover reveal for Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Atwood. I really love the cover. I am just like such a sucker for any covers that Charlie Bowater designs. I think her artwork is unparalleled. It's so gorgeous. And the premise of Margaret's second book really appeals to me because it takes place within a magical library. So Sorcery of Thorns, I think, has the potential to be a book that I personally am going to love. We also got a cover reveal for The Merciful Crow by Margaret Atwood. This is another cover that is just stunningly beautiful. This one was announced over YALLFest weekend. I'm not sure if they actually debuted it like at YALLFest or if it just happened to be that same time. This one is said to be good for fans of Leigh Bardugo and Kendara Blake. Then, if you have read Royals by Rachel Hawkins, the whole series is getting a little bit of a makeover. They changed the covers to a new like illustrated style, and I personally love it so much more than the first cover. Like, I feel like it fits the series so well. It's so beautiful. The two books go together so well. I wish that they would do like a book jacket, like a hardcover book jacket as like a pre-order incentive or something for the first Royals, because oh my gosh, I need these to match. They're so perfect. And Royals is actually also being renamed. It's no longer going to be called Royals. It's going to be called Prince Charming. And the paperback version of this is coming in March of 2019. And then we also got the title and cover reveal for the second book, which is going to be called Her Royal Highness. And I believe this one is actually an LGBTQ story set obviously in the same world. So pretty excited about these. We also got the paperback cover reveal for The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. This I think is so beautiful. I really love the blue and the teal and the lime green. I think those colors just go together like so perfectly. I think it looks amazing. I've always loved the cover of The Hazelwood, so to have a new infusion of colors in there is very appealing to me, and I'm probably gonna get a copy because I just really love that book. We also got the cover for Soul of the Sword by Julie Kagawa. This is the second book after The Shadow of the Fox, which I am planning on reading this month, and I'm so very excited to do so. But I really love the second cover. It's this gorgeous teal. I think it looks absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to read this series. It's very heavily rooted in Japanese culture, and everyone has told me that it is basically an anime, so I am on board. Then we got the cover reveal for Somewhere Only We Know by Maureen Gu, and I really love the topography of this cover. I also really love how the girl looks sitting on the cover. I think she looks great. The guy, super awkward. Like, he's just chopped off in a very weird spot. I don't know why it was done that way. I feel like they should have shown like a little bit more of him or something. Overall, I really like the cover. I just kind of wish he either wasn't on it or we could just see a little more of him or something. Then we got the cover for Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. This is a new fantasy novel that is coming next summer, and once again, it's just so gorgeous. We're getting like the best fantasy covers next year, and I am living for it. We also got the cover for The Princess and the Fangirl by Ashley Poston. This is the second book in the Once Upon a Con series, the first one being Geekerella. This one is actually going to be, so Geekerella was like a Cinderella retelling, and The Princess and the Fangirl is going to be an LGBTQ retelling of The Princess and the Pauper. We also got the cover for Half Nightstand by Christina Lauren. This cover I really don't like. I think it's very boring. It kind of looks like just a bland adult contemporary romance book, which like, it's not the worst, but it's just boring in my opinion. Then we learned the premiere date for the final season of the Shadowhunters, and that is coming to us on February 29th of 2019. The final season is going to include 12 episodes, and the last episode is going to be like a two-parter. Netflix also announced the season 3 premiere date for A Series of Unfortunate Events, and that one is coming to us on New Year's Day on January 1st of 2019. I know that I will be binging that as soon as it comes out. I really enjoyed the first 2 seasons. I think that Neil Patrick Harris is such an amazing Count Olaf, and I just can't stop watching it. The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is also getting a special Christmas episode. It's called A Midwinter's Tale, and it is coming out on December 14th. I still have to catch up on that series. I only watched the first 2 episodes, but I need to like dive into it. My friend Monica from She Might Be Monica has been telling me like constantly watch it. And I'm like, I swear I'm going to. Then speaking of Sabrina, we're going to be getting a new Sabrina comic. It's going to be written by Kelly Thompson with art by Veronica Fish. The first issue is going to go on sale on March 27th, and so far it is contracted for a 5-issue run, but there's the potential for it to continue depending upon fan reception. And the one draw about this comic is this one is going to be a much cheerier version of Sabrina than the one that we have seen in the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and in the TV show. This one's going to be more like colorful and fun and like the Sabrina of the 90s. Then we got the trailer for Dumplin by Julie Murphy. This is going to be hitting Netflix on December 7th, and I am running out of time to read the book before that adaptation pops up, but I really want to read it first. It looks really good. Next, it was announced that Netflix is going to be creating an animated series that will be adapting Roald Dahl's books, but this isn't going to be a straight adaptation of his stories. They're looking to create like a Roald Dahl universe with the different characters such as like Charlie from the Chocolate Factory and James and the Giant Peach and like all of those characters that we know and love. So they said that the stories will essentially overlap and there will be threads that connect each of them, but they really want to explore Roald Dahl's other books like past the ones that we're just familiar with. Then we found out that Margaret Atwood is actually going to be writing a sequel to The Handmaid's Tale, and this is going to be called The Testament. It's coming out in September of 2019, and The Testament is set 15 years after the final scene in The Handmaid's Tale, and it's going to be narrated by 3 female characters, but that is all the information we have so far. Next, I was pretty excited to learn that Mira Grant's Rolling in the Deep is going to be adapted by Mary Lambert, who worked on Pet Sematary. And for those who don't know, so Mira Grant is actually Seanan McGuire. Rolling in the Deep is actually the novella that predates Into the Drowning Deep, which is like the full-length horror novel about mermaids. Then in other adaptation news, George R.R. Martin's Wildcard series is going to be coming to Hulu, and it's going to be helmed by Andrew Miller. Wildcards is actually a shared universe full of anthologies and mosaic novels and standalone stories, all written by a collection of authors. The intent for Hulu is to start with 2 series and then potentially expand into more and tell more of the stories within the universe. Next, I was really excited to hear that Dear Evan Hansen is going to be adapted into a film, and not only that, but Ben Platt is actually in early talks to reprise the title role of Evan Hansen. He's the one that originally played him in the Broadway play. I was lucky enough to see him in that role like a couple of nights before he left. Andrew actually got me tickets for my birthday, and it was the best. The film is going to be directed by Stephen Chbosky, who is the writer of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And I am really excited because I really loved that play and I really loved the music. It's just so good. Then we found out that Doctor Who is actually not going to have a Christmas episode this year, which is quite unusual, but there still will be a holiday special. It's just going to air on New Year's Day. Then I have a little bit of anime news. The most exciting thing, in my opinion, or actually there are 2 of them that are like rivaled for most exciting, but the first that I'm going to talk about is that Fruits Basket is going to be getting a new anime. It's going to be completely rebooted, and they're going to cover the entire story from beginning to end, because the original Fruits Basket's anime like barely covers anything in the manga, and the way that it ends is kind of confusing because there's just so much more story, and now we're finally going to see it. It's gonna be amazing. And the next bit that I felt like was kind of tied with that is that Neon Genesis Evangelion is finally coming to Netflix. All 26 episodes will be available to stream. Netflix is having like some kind of initiative where they really want to like expand their anime selection, and spring is really when they're going to start doing that. So we're gonna get all 26 episodes as well as 2 feature films, and I am so excited because it's pretty impossible to find the DVDs for Neon Genesis Evangelion at this point. Like, they went out of print a long time ago and there was lots of issues with like who owned the rights to them. So this is like huge. Then Crunchyroll also announced that they are going to be coming out with a 10-episode live-action version of Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is one of the most beloved animes, and it's one of the ones that a lot of people will tell you to start with because there are Western influences, so it might be a good place for you to kind of dip your toes into the genre if you're not familiar with other like anime tropes and stuff. I'm always hesitant about live-action anime, so I'm not like jumping up and down down for this one just yet, but I am excited that Chris Yost is actually going to be writing the first episode in the series, and he was the writer of Thor: The Dark World and Thor: Ragnarok, both of which I really enjoyed, so I feel like there is potential there. No actors have been cast yet that we've been told about, but I'm definitely gonna keep apprised of this news. Then we found out that Netflix has officially canceled Daredevil. Daredevil was definitely their most successful Marvel adaptation of a show that they've done. Daredevil was the last one that was like clinging on for life, but it's likely not because of ratings. Daredevil likely got pulled because Netflix is ending their partnership with Disney when Disney goes off to start their own streaming service. And speaking of that service, we found out that the Disney streaming service is going to be called Disney Plus. So far they have announced 2 live action shows. One of them is a Loki-centric show, and Tom Hiddleston will be reprising his role as Loki in it, and I can't wait for that. And the other show is a Star Wars show, and Diego Luna is going to be starring in that and reprising his role as Cassian Andor. And I'm also really excited for that one. Freaking car horns. Then we got the first trailer for Artemis Fowl. This movie is going to be coming out on August 9th of 2019. I have not yet read the books, so I made the executive decision to not actually watch the trailer until I've at least read the first book. So I can't tell you what it's about, but I can tell you that fans of the series have had a very positive response to the trailer. So I think that bodes well for how the adaptation's gonna go. I'm pretty excited to read it and then to see it next year. All right, and that is all the news that I had to cover in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if there's anything I mentioned that you guys are really excited about. I know there was a lot of news in here that had me like jumping up and down. I seriously just can't wait for like so much of the book stuff in the beginning, and then the Fruits Basket anime. Like, oh my gosh, it's just gonna be, and To All the Boys I've Loved Before, like so good. Just so many good things coming our way. But that is all that I have for this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!